In this module, we'll walk you through the Pivot app from a user's perspective. In the next few modules, we'll dive deeper into the sensor, tech support, as well as the coaching portal. Now at Carrot, we have several clients, and so to indicate each of those clients, they're given an access code. This code allows them to register, and that's when they will receive a device, our sensor. So once they get their access code through their employer, they'll go onto our website, and they will go through a series of questions with that access code. First, they'll be asked what type of tobacco user they are. So do they smoke cigarettes? Are they an e-cig user? Do they chew tobacco? Do they use a duality of these products? Once, let's say, for instance, they smoke cigarettes, they might be asked additional questions such as, how many cigs per day do you smoke? How many number of days do you smoke? What's the average cost of your cigarettes? What's your current age? When did you start smoking? And your gender. They'll also be asked a series of questions once they've downloaded the app itself, talking about like their process of how do they see themselves in this program. So for instance, are they seriously thinking of quitting in the next 30 days, 6 months, or really not? They're not quite sure. If they were to quit today, how ready would they be on a scale of 1 to 10? And then how successful would they feel? And ultimately, what is their goal? Do they have any goal in mind? Is it just to reduce? Is it to quit? Or something else? Now, once they've gone through a registration process and they've downloaded the app, they will see their home screen. So this is their home screen here on the far left. And I've circled a few things that I want to walk through. The first thing I want to walk through is where it says Quit Support. That is the lessons. So that's where they can use it. It'll change based on the user's goal. So let's say they're not quite sure, so they may be shown the Learn section, which we'll go over in a second. But our lessons are really designed to help a pivoter explore how tobacco fits in their life, provide practical tools to help them quit, as well as to tell them what to do next, even after they've quit. Every phase has an outline for the pivoter to let them know what to expect. So whether they're in Learn, they're in Reduce, they're in Build, or if they're in the Quit support. Also on this homepage, you see Pair Sensor and SIG logs. And at the bottom, you see the home screen, challenges, coaching, community, and me. So let's say someone clicks on me. This is going to be the pivoter story. So as they complete different activities in the app, this will continue to build their story. If they click on at the far left, at the top corner there where you see it circled, that's a sensor, which we'll walk through in a second. The next button to the left, it looks like a 1 or a finger, is the cigarette. And the peace sign is where they would crush a craving. And we'll walk through each of these in a second. But let's say they log a cigarette. Well, when they log a cigarette, you'll see this far screen here. And this is where they'll be able to not only log where they smoke their cigarette, but the reason why, right? So it'll log a time and the why. And at the end of the day, it'll give them a general reason of why they smoked a number of cigarettes. Now, let's talk about the sensor. So the sensor is really only indicated for tobacco users that smoke. So it's not going to be giving you a breath sample or value if you're an e-cig user or if you chew tobacco. So it only measures carbon monoxide, so a burning inhaled product. So once somebody receives the app, they'll actually get a 60-second tutorial video of how to pair that app and what the sensor is used for and how they can utilize the sensor to their best of their ability to help them quit. So they'll be asked, the app itself will walk them through how to pair the sensor. We have 2 different types of sensors. We're moving towards our digital version. So there's still some that have this older version that's called our Vento in-house. In-house this is called Iceman. When we have a new series, it'll be called a different name. But essentially what this device is going to be able to do is once they've paired it, they will be able to log their cigarettes using that device. They don't have to just do it through the app. They get breath samples, and it'll actually give them a CO value. We're also creating new things where when they blow into the sample, it'll tell them, hey, in the next 4 hours, if you don't have a cigarette, you can get to a green sample. And we'll talk about what that sample looks like in a second. Also in the app, there are activities that the users can do to avoid a cigarette or to challenge themselves to see what that CO value could be. Now, as we get more sophisticated with our firmware, we'll actually be able to update it in the app itself. And they won't need to have a new sensor. They'll just be able to do that all within their app. But let's talk about what CO means. And you'll dive deeper into this in the censored training. But essentially, Users can get one of three values. Green, meaning they've given a ppm of 0 to 6, so parts per million. That's typically what a non-smoker will get. Yellow, 7 to 9, so somebody that's maybe a light smoker. And then finally, anything greater than 10 would be for our typical smoker levels. So once they've done that, you'll see that they'll see their next sample. We're trying to get users to give about 4 samples a day, so morning, midday, evening, and night. And as you can see here, this is where you'll track your CO sensor. So we've seen this on that home screen here where they can pair their sensor. Now that this will change once it's paired to tracking their sensor. Also, they'll be able to just click on the individual and see every single individual sample. By clicking Learn More, they'll be able to do challenges within the app itself. So there's 3 types of challenges. They can do an overnight, they can do a before and after, or a guess your CO. Guess your CO is the simplest one. They say, oh, I think my CO value is 15. They blow into it and it's really 30. That's your opportunity as a coach to talk about why it's a 30. They'll also do a before and after, so that's a measure, sig measure. So where a user will give a sample, they'll smoke a cigarette, and then 5 minutes later give another sample. This is where they see the direct impact of smoking immediately in real time. And then overnight is doing a sample before they go to bed and doing a sample when they wake up in the morning to see that drastic change in CO value. Now, we're not going to talk too much about the next piece here because this is going to be more in your sensor training, but these are the common issues that we see with sensors. So they've disconnected from their phone, sampling errors, the warranty level, or they want to use it with an e-cig or smokeless product when it's not accessible. But we'll walk through this a little bit later in our sensor training. So what happens when a user wants to chat with a coach for onboarding? Well, when a user onboards, they'll see why talk to their coach in the first place. And is our coach real, that we're real humans? Sometimes they think we're robots. But we'll offer them a phone call. And here it'll say, yes, I prefer a call, or no, I don't. If they say yes, it'll say, great news, your coach will message you shortly to schedule a call. If they say no, it'll say, great news, your coach will message you shortly to have your first chat, right? So in the portal, you'll be able to see whether they want a phone call from you or not. And you'll understand more about this in the coaching portal training itself. But once a user gets matched with you, they'll receive a welcome message. They'll be able to see your bio. They'll also get text messages indicating that they've got a message from you. And they'll see at the bottom here that you've been messaged by a coach by a number. So let's talk about the actual lessons themselves. So our first lesson is Learn. Learn is the first phase of the program. It's a great place for someone who isn't quite ready to quit or really unclear of their goal. It's designed for anyone who smokes, chews, or uses e-cigs to raise their awareness and really move them to the next phase, which is building skills. Here, your primary role with a pivoter is really just to explore how tobacco impacts their lives and how they self-identify as a tobacco user. The next section is Build, and as you will go through the training, you'll get more familiar with each of these lessons. So this is generally just a high-level overview for you. But Build is the second phase of the program, and it's really a great place for someone who's ready to quit or who has increased their awareness in wanting to reach that goal in the next maybe 3 to 4 weeks. Or this is also a great place for them to start to reduce before they decide whether and when they want to quit. Here, pivoters will continue to build skills and learn about how tobacco routines, triggers kind of fit in their lives and ways to cope with those triggers without using any tobacco forms. And it'll also talk about medication, which we'll dive into a little bit deeper. But again, essentially here, pivoters will build a plan to help them reach daily challenges. This will allow them to put their practice into place. They'll also, this is also your opportunity to continuously encourage iteration. Talking about iteration, we have practice quits in the app itself. So this is a place where a user can literally go without a cigarette, a tobacco, vaping session, or go without any chew or any smokeless tobacco. So they would set a time limit of, hey, I want to try to go an hour without using any tobacco form, or I want to go a half a day, or whatever it is. They can customize it. But again, this is their place to build that competency and to have some autonomy in creating their own journey here, but also building their readiness to when they are ready to quit. Now, let's say a user is starting to reduce or is ready to quit. We offer free NRTs for up to 2 weeks for 2 times. So we offer patches and gums, patches and lodgings, as well as these 3 items individually, as you can see at various milligram doses of nicotine. Finally, we have the quit support. This is the final phase of the program. This is when a pivoter has reached a stage they have attempted a quit attempt or they've successfully quit. Here, the pivoters are encouraged to follow the strategies that they laid out in their quit plan. They've received continuous encouragement and support from you as well as the app. But many pivoters will lapse or relapse during quit. So there's many opportunities to coach them and support them through their rough patches. And once they've successfully quit, this is where they'll receive some check-ins from the app itself. So 7-day PPAs, 14 days, 30 days, 6 months. But you'll also be periodically checking in with them on celebrations, different milestones, and things like that. But as you've seen the app, it looks pretty linear. But most folks don't follow a linear path as it's organized in this sequence here. They'll move around, they'll go and learn, they might jump into build, and they might be excited and they might try a quit attempt and they may fail and they may want to go back to some of the learned lessons. And that's okay. This app is really a user-friendly journey, and it's up to you as a coach to really guide them and support them in what you see best fit for them, as well as being a partner with them as well. The final section that we're going to talk about is community. And so community is a place where outside of your one-on-ones with them, they can actually reach out to other pivoters. And so they really just want to know someone else is like me. It's a safe haven for them. They can exchange knowledge of what's working well for them. It can also help positively reinforce their experience with Pivot, as well as just having someone that's, again, the readiness here. So as you can see, once a pivoter has logged a statement or a declaration, they will actually also be able to pick a topic based on that. So help and support or inspiration and celebration, things, again, that the pivoter just feels that they want to share with everyone else. Now, this product is very, very new. It's one of our newest additions to the app, and so it'll continuously be evolved and actually will be managed in-house by our coaching team.